Yeah, hi. Welcome to Unqualified Commentary. We're all unqualified to even be here. Do I know why we're here? Kind of not, but still kind of do at the same time. I'm Marcus today with Rachel and Jay for the next episode. So what do we have today? I'll pass it off to Rachel for that because I'm not sure.
Well, today, obviously, we got to start off with our plays of the week, and I'll start with you guys. I'm actually going to share my screen because I wanted to show you how insane this play was because I don't think I can describe it properly. All right,
Yeah.
let's.
Yeah.
All right, so this is um, it's Seton Hall University is who we're watching, so the blue team here, and the player to watch is Faith Monasoa. Watch this buzzer beater. And it won them the game. Here's it again in slow motion. So Faith Monasoa goes up behind the back, literally throws it over her head underneath the basket, scores the point on the buzzer, and wins the game 56-55 against Villanova. One of the craziest college basketball plays I have seen in a really long time. This is a D1 school. And I was shocked. It's in New Jersey. I had never heard of the school, but it just absolutely blew my mind seeing that this week. So I thought that I would start off with a shout out to that play.
This is Cam Scadabo from the college football playoffs. He's the running back, first of all. The running back was the one that threw the touchdown here. He just lobbed it. Block.
Wow. This is college, you said?
Yeah, this is college. This is Arizona versus Texas. Texas did go on to win the game. The person that threw the touchdown was the running back because they just faked it to the quarter, or well, they initially snapped it to the quarterback. He just threw it to the running back. Running back's like, send it. Went downfield, got the touchdown. He had a great game. Granted, he was very frustrated after the game because he had a miracle run. Boy, yeah, it was a great play nonetheless.
Jay, do you have a play of the week?
No, I've been fighting with a bookcase all week.
Jay!
I've had so much. I have watched a lot of hockey, technically, this week. I've had, like, the World Juniors on constantly in the background as I fight with this bookcase that I was about to lose my mind over. So I don't have a specific play of the week. But I do think that it would be fun to start the year off right with some predictions for 2025 and sporting. I have Rachel's predictions and my predictions written down, but I'm going to put Marcus on the spot and tell
Oh,
Marcus, what are your
yeah.
2025 predictions for the sporting world?
Sporting world, I'm not going to go with the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl because that's too bland, because that's probably going to happen anyway. Oh, geez. You know what? I'm going to go basketball and say the Oklahoma City Thunder win it all this year.
Ooh,
Doing
yeah,
really
they're on
good.
my highlights for news this
They're
week.
doing really well, yeah, because they're on like a 15-game win streak right now. But
You're stealing my thunder.
I know, but still, I gotta make the predictions.
Did
A
you
bad
did you not
joke.
get
It was a bad joke.
It was a great joke.
Yeah, content. But I think that's my prediction for basketball, just because they're doing really good, and they're also a very young team to begin with. So to see that talent kind of blossom, I'm thinking they either have a good chance. Granted, the Cavaliers will probably stand in their way, but because the Cavaliers only have what, like 4 losses this season, and they're 30 something games in. So yeah. Let's see, what else do I have? Technically, it hasn't happened, but I was just gonna say, like, some celebrity gets engaged to random sports athlete, which technically happened. As I would say, it happened in 2024, but not in this year. Yeah, because I was gonna bring up the Josh Allen, Haley Steinfeld. If
What
you want
about
to go
hockey?
for hockey, I was about to say, because I know Jays was saying the Wild was gonna win. That probably would have been mine too. The Wild are doing
A college
good.
hockey theory. I think that the University of Maine is doing really well, which is
Mhm.
they just currently beat the sixth ranked team and they're seventh ranked in the nation. I have a theory that they're gonna make it to the Frozen Four this year.
Like they did last year.
They didn't make it last year. They
Oh
made
no,
it to
they
the
didn't make the
semifinal
frozen. They made it to the almost the championships, but they made it to the semis of the
for the
regionals.
division, but they
Or yeah,
didn't even make
division.
it to the championship of our division last
No,
year.
they
But
were semifinals. I watched the
hmm
game. That was a good game still, but
This
But
is their comeback arc.
yeah.
So hopefully,
Um,
hopefully that.
Rachel, do you want to take us through your predictions?
Oh gosh, okay. Well, Marcus already said one of mine. I said the Kansas City Chiefs have a three-peat. I think it's gonna happen. I think it'd be really cool if they did. And on the tail end of that, sports adjacent, I do think Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are gonna get engaged this year.
I don't.
We'll see. You don't.
I don't. I'm a huge Swiftie, and I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't know. Um, I also predicted along the lines of football that Tom Brady would become a reality TV star this year. And this is, of course, on a unhinged bingo card, so don't come after me too much. And then my final one is I think we're going to have our first openly gay NHL player. So there is an AAHL player who is openly gay and is signed with, I think, the Predators for the Farm League, but I would like to see, and I'm really hoping that we do see an openly gay NHL player this year. I think that'd be really cool. So,
now, real quick thought on that. If he does get called up by the Predators, does that count as well for you?
yes,
Okay.
I think so, personally.
We're just making sure, because technically he's already professional, but not
Yes,
in
he's
the
a
NHL.
professional hockey player, but he hasn't ever played in the NHL, so
I
I
just
did my
think it should be
research.
celebrated if we get our first openly gay NHL player. I think that would be something huge to celebrate.
I agree. All right, Jay, hit us with your predictions.
Okay, as Marcus already mentioned, I predict the Wild to win the Stanley Cup this year. I think this would be so cool on multiple levels. One, they have a really awesome goalie. I love him. He's probably my favorite goalie outside of the Bruins. And I'm a goalie girl through and through. This is not counting the women's league because Frankel reigns overall. Uh, anyways, and I also think that the PWHL, Minnesota won the Walter Cup last year, so they hoisted the first banner in the Wild Stadium last year for the women. So I think it would be really cool to do back to back, the women first, because ladies first, of course, and then the men. I think that would be really cool, and I would love to see that. And I just have counted the Bruins out at this point. Um, I also predict a big baseball cheating scandal. They're changing a lot of rules in baseball in the last few years in trying to promote more people to watch the game. I think some team is going to try to take advantage, and there's going to be a huge cheating scandal in professional baseball, and I just want to sit back and eat popcorn and watch it. Um, I also think my 2025 bingo card was significantly more morbid than anyone else's in the group chat because my brain just thinks that way. Um, it's no secret that football is a dangerous game to play. I think this year, I don't want this to happen, but if it's going to happen, I want to get points on my bingo card for it. I think we might have an NFL player dying due to a game-related injury.
Pop off.
Those are my predictions.
Yikes.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yikes.
Oh god, well it's not funny, but it's a little funny. Okay. Well, each of us have some news from the recent weeks because we took a little bit of time off for the holidays, so we wanted to kind of give you some updates lately. My first piece of news was supposed to be the Oklahoma City Thunder and their 15-game winning streak. And I think that that's really cool. They gained it over a win against the Celtics this week, though they are far away from the longest winning streak, which is 33 games, which is held by the 1971 and 72 Lakers. And who knows? Maybe we'll see them take that spot from them. That would be pretty cool. I would love to see that, especially with such a young team. But we'll see. Next, I have some pretty cool news. Magic Johnson received the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is the nation's highest civilian honor. He received this award as stated in the White House speech for him that Johnson's on-court success, five-time NBA champion and three-time MVP, as well as his business empire, his philanthropy with underserved communities, and his groundbreaking advocacy around HIV and AIDS. So I don't know how many of you guys know, or if you two know, that Magic Johnson's had HIV, and he's been very open and honest about his journey with it and surviving with it. And I think that's really wonderful that, he got that recognition, because I definitely think in the basketball community he deserved it, for sure. Next, really scary news. Paige Beckers took a nasty hit to the knee today during a game and did not come back afterwards. So she has had previous knee injuries on that knee that took her out for an entire season. And then she had a reoccurring injury after that took her out, I think, for another additional season. So people are a little worried about this, obviously. In the post game, Gino said that they're optimistic that it's not the worst case scenario and they think that she's going to be fine. But again, we haven't had scans or anything yet. So very scary for any UConn fans out there or any college basketball women's fans in general, because Paige Beckers is projected to be the #1 draft pick in the WNBA this next season. So hopefully she is doing well and positive vibes her way. And finally, my favorite time of year is coming up. So with the shift into the new year, we also shift into conference play for college basketball, which means we can start looking forward to March Madness. This is when we start seeing which teams are going to be kicking ass and taking names during the conference tournament, and also kind of gives us a better idea of the breakdowns of who's going to be doing well. For the women's, I have a couple of teams that I think we should keep an eye out, especially if you're new to basketball and college basketball. Here's some team names that I recommend you check out and pick from for the upcoming tournament. So USC is doing really well. Obviously, they're the defending champions, and we expect to see them return to the tournament strong. And then we also have UConn, UCLA, Notre Dame, Texas, and LSU. Those different teams, I think, all are really incredible. We've seen some of them be really, really good in previous years, especially last year in the tournament. But I also think that with this upcoming year, it'll be really interesting. ESPN currently has a really great bracket of the prediction for the tournament this year, and I'll be excited to see it. And then for men's, I have Duke with Cooper Flag. I think that they need a lot of improvement from here until the end of the conference games, but I think that they can do it. That's my bet for their win in the NCAA tournament, but we'll see. And then Tennessee is doing really well. The Auburn Tigers are doing incredible this season. And finally, UConn is on the rise, and I think that they would be my surprise from the back win if there was one. And then my last piece of news is this month also brings some exciting news, which is Unrivaled League. Whoop whoop! This is the 3v3 league that allows WNBA players to stay local, well, regional, I should say, instead of having to go overseas to play in the off-season. I'm really excited to see it. It is going to be broadcasted on TV for a lot of the games, so keep an eye out for those. And I'm really excited. I personally think I'll be rooting for the Laces, and that's just because I want to watch Kate Martin dominate again. But have you guys heard the names for the different teams yet?
Yeah.
No, but I kind of like the Laces. I think that's kind of, I like that.
Oh, geez. I'm trying to go through all the names in my head. There's the Laces, Phantoms, Vinyl, Rose, Mist. Oh, there's one I'm missing.
Lunar Owls.
Yep, that's the one I'm missing.
You get such kick-ass names. I love them. We haven't been seeing many kick-ass names lately. I love them.
It's founded by two WNBA players, Brianna Stewart and Nafisha Collier. And both of them had a huge part, I think, to play in the marketing of this 3-on-3 league. And I think that's probably why.
You go for the Laces. I think that's the name that I have weird ways of picking my team sometimes. I think that might be it for me.
Yes, I think they're also teal. Like the color is like a light blue.
I think so. It's it's light blue with a mix of red.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite jerseys might be the Lunar Owls, though. They're the purple team. They're kind of sick.
I'd be swayed.
And so that's all the news I have for basketball this week. Any other news that you guys can think of for basketball that I missed?
I mean, I can find the little mistake that you made in your whole spiel too. That was funny.
What?
I was looking at because so who won last year for the women's March Madness, Rachel?
So USC, which is University of South Carolina.
So University of South Carolina is not the college known as USC. USC
It's
is
not?
University of Southern California is USC.
Oh my god. Yeah, you're right.
That's why I was confused.
That's my bad.
I was confused. I was like,
No.
South Carolina? Southern California. Which one am I looking
That's
at?
on me.
Because I was like, Juju Watkins didn't win last year.
No, she
I was
did
like,
not. No,
I
she
was
did
like,
not. She plays for Southern California. That's my bad.
yeah, because South Carolina's just called South Carolina. I
South
don't think
Carolina.
I was
Yeah.
about to say, I don't think people really call it USC because the other team.
In my brain, they're like the same colors essentially. They both have a lot of maroon in their
One's
colors.
maroon and white, one's maroon and gold.
Maroon. My point being, they're both maroons. In my head, they have the same initials and they're both the same colors, so
But
it's easy to get those two.
when I see the uniforms, the primary color for USC is gold. The primary color for South Carolina is maroon. There's two different primaries here.
Yeah, but I always think of their white jerseys. It's not my fault, okay?
She's literally
Everything
just a girl.
I'm
everything's in
literally
black
just
and
a
white.
girl, Marcus.
Girl math.
Anyways, yes, that is my mistake. USC is not my. I do think Juju Watkins is gonna be somebody to watch, but I also think South Carolina is a big contender for winning this year.
I think
So
USC
my
might
bad.
take it.
You think that? Ooh.
They might take
I could
it.
see it. I think Juju Watkins is a rising star. She has the potential to have as much of an impact to women's sports, I think, as like Paige Beckers and a lot of the other really big players like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, all of those huge players that did significant work in their senior year, not only for women's sports but also just for basketball in general. So
Yeah, but I've also looked at some of their games this season because I know they faced UConn already this season and they won that game. So the fact that they're able to
they
beat a
did.
team like UConn, and I think South Carolina finally started losing games this season because they don't have the players they used to, obviously. But
They lost to UCLA. I
yeah,
remember that. That was
that's a
a big
hit right
one,
there.
but
Well, I
yeah.
don't know. It's a little early to tell
Oh,
right now. So
it is early.
also, March Madness is the season of upsets, so who knows what'll happen.
I know. I would love to see a 16 seed beat a number like 1 seed. That would be so crazy. It would be so good though. But
Mm-hmm.
but
Nope.
anything can happen cuz it's just one game and injuries do decide a lot of things. Like I had Virginia Tech really high up last year and then Liz Kitley absolutely destroyed her knee and they went out in like the second round. So, yep.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
All right, Jay. Tell us about hockey.
I have notes.
Have
Um,
notes.
so a lot is going on in the hockey world right now, so we're going to jump around. There is a topic that's kind of old because we've taken a break, but I do want to talk about it because I think it's kind of interesting and it sparked some interesting conversations online about hockey. So on December 20th, during the Rangers Dallas Stars game, Matt Rempe was I almost said found guilty. That's not how sports work. But anyways, he he got brain is scrambly. Cut this out for a second.
Penalized?
Yeah, for border boarding and elbowing um a defenseman for the Dallas Stars. And his arm does come up and make contact in the head area of the Dallas Stars player as he's making the hit. He was suspended for 8 games. He's been ejected he's a repeat offender. He's been ejected from 4 games. And this was only 3 days after he got brought up to the Rangers again. He's kind of gone back and forth a little. But he's considered a repeat offender. He was fined $80,000 because of this hit, along with the 8-game suspension, which he served 5 of so far. And it just came out today that the Rangers are planning on keeping him on after this. But there's a lot of questions that come when he has instantly become a fan favorite for the Rangers fan because of his aggressive play. And as a hockey fan, I do love to see things get aggressive. But when the arm comes up as you're making the hit, it becomes an unsafe play. Fun to watch, but unsafe for the other players, and player safety is very important. So, a lot of people are saying it's just because of his size, because he is a bigger hockey player. I believe he is over 6 foot, which for hockey players usually, he's over like 6 foot something. Like, he is quite tall for a hockey player. So a lot of people are saying that it's due to his size that he's making these hits and that they're seeing worse than what an average player would do. And my opinion on that is he didn't just stumble into a 6-foot-something body yesterday and started playing. He's been playing in a larger body for his entire professional career, because I don't think he's having growth spurts anymore. So he should be able to either A, control his body and learn to make hits that are safe for the other player to some degree, because when you have a size difference, there's always going to be a level of it not being safe, and every player on the ice is aware that they risk injury every time they step on the ice. And B, my other opinion is, if you are in a larger body playing this sport, and that can lead to you making hits that would be deemed unsafe, you have to be willing to take the consequences of making those hits, like the suspensions, which I don't think he's made a fuss about any of it so far. But it's just led to this interesting conversation of how size matters in hockey when making hits. And I don't think the other player was injured at all during this hit, which is always good to hear. But it's just kind of been an interesting discussion that I wanted to talk about a little.
Yeah, I think sports in general have definitely aired towards the side of caution a lot more in the last 10 years, have put in a lot of regulation to try to prevent the players from being seriously injured. Because again, yes, this is their life career, but also most athletes are retired, if they're really lucky, by their late 30s, early 40s, right? And those are really, really lucky athletes. Obviously, more likely it's going to be in your 30s. So, we have all of these super strong athletes that get these life-altering injuries, and then, what are they supposed to do? So, I kind of agree with the heavy suspension and preventing heavy play, because I think it's fun to watch players be aggressive with each other, but it's not fun to watch players get hurt.
Yes, exactly.
Can I just say this man is 6'9"?
Yes, exactly. He is extremely tall for a hockey player.
Like, average hockey player, I think, is like 6'4", which is still tall, because a lot of hockey players are surprisingly tall. What's the average height for hockey?
I'm just saying, like, as compared to, like, our basketball players, they're on the shorter side.
The New York Times says 6'2".
6'2". Yeah, I was close, but still. 6'2" is still quite tall. Like, 6'2" is my height. Like, I'm an average hockey player at that point.
You're 6'2"?
Not good. Yes. I'm not good at hockey, but I'm 6'2".
Yes.
But
I can attest he is 6'2". He's not lying, ladies, because my fiance is 6 foot, and
I'm taller than him.
Marcus is 2 inches taller. So...
My brother might be lying about his height then, because he says he's 6'2", but I think he's taller than that now.
That's quite possible. A lot of people say they're like 6'2", and they're like 6'4". No, but still, the average height for a hockey player is 6'2". That's still quite tall, because that's still taller than the average male.
The average male, I think, is 5'9".
It's either 5'9" or 5'11", but it's one of the two. I don't know if it's changed, obviously, because of how the world is.
I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, so that's where all the controversy is coming from. Also, I have more hockey news. So the World Juniors is going on, I believe, literally at this minute for the final championship game. And it is USA versus Finland. And thanks to Rachel, I don't know if I'm rooting for Finland or USA right now.
What did you do?
Okay. This will probably get cut out later, but Marcus, she decided that it was a good idea. I told her about one of my hockey romance books that I have read, and let me tell you, it is a wild one. It is a 700-page hockey romance called Pucking Around, and it is a polyamorous relationship with 3 hockey players and the team doctor. One of them is retired and is the equipment manager, but it's the goalie who is a Finnish guy. And he goes, anyways, his goal is to, like, go to the Olympics and stuff. But anyways, Jay decided that, if she absolutely hates romances, that she would read this.
I knew needed to know if it was as unhinged as you were telling me it was in the car. She spent like 45 minutes explaining the plot to me, and I'm like, this can't be real. Like, I love you, Rachel, but sometimes you exaggerate a little bit. You did not exaggerate on this.
Exaggerate. I left out a couple of things for your own sanity, but I did not
Yikes.
exaggerate.
We're keeping this in. We're keeping
Shout out
this
to
in.
Emily Rath, who wrote this book. She is a queer hockey romance writer, and she's really, really interested in, bringing both sports, like the sports community, into and the LGBT community together. And I think that the work she does on advocacy is great. I think her books are good, but unhinged.
I think we should keep that in. I think that was fun. Anyways,
That makes a
another
great TikTok.
Another interesting thing about the USA versus Finland game is the USA, the only team they have lost to in the past 2 years has been Finland.
Yeah.
And the USA has been dominating this so far. They had like some games that were like 7-1. Like they've had some extremely high scoring hockey games this year, and it's been really fun to kind of watch while you're building a bookcase. And it's just interesting. I'm very curious to see the results. And we had Rachel, how many main players did you have in the World Juniors? Because UMass had 2.
I don't know. I don't think it's any. Let me go look.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I think we have one. Hold on.
I didn't check the numbers because I didn't care enough, but still, I was laughing at the guy with the Canada jersey. The one that threw it on the ice. That was funny.
It was amazing. Okay. So also,
We have one. We had one. He was on Team Canada.
Dang,
Listen
the
here.
Canadian.
Don't you have to? Okay. Is it okay? What are the requirements to be a part of World Junior? Because I think most of our guys are too old.
you talking about how your team's elderly isn't helping your case here. We've got young blood in UMass.
UMaine's elderly.
No, they're just seniors. We have mostly
seniors.
juniors and seniors on our team. No, I don't think they're mostly super seniors. I don't think so. I don't actually know the stats of UMaine hockey. I just like watching, okay?
I like seeing big hit. Who cares about numbers?
Exactly!
Alright, also, PWHL, the takeover tour started today with the Boston Fleet taking the Montreal Victoire in Seattle. And okay, I have theories. Okay, so the takeover tour, they're going to a bunch of different cities and states in both Canada and the US. We know that we are getting 2 expansion teams for the PWHL. I think it is going to be in the 2 of the cities that they're doing the takeover tour in, as like a little taste. And kind of working out logistics and just so I want a Quebec team and I want a Colorado team. I've said this since they've announced it. And we have Quebec and Denver, Colorado on the list for the takeover tour. So I guess you can kind of, I think they're getting announced in 2025. So I guess you can put that in my 2025 sports predictions that 1, the teams are going to be on the takeover tour cities. And 2, specifically, I want Quebec and Colorado.
Hang on, before we move on from the takeover tour, I'm gonna argue with you and say this, and only this for one specific reason. I want to see Seattle get one of those teams, actually. Instead of Colorado. I want Seattle to get it.
That still is part of my theory that it's going to be one on the tour.
Well, I agree with that theory for sure. I just want to see Seattle, and that's mostly just because I want to see it because Jessica Campbell is currently coaching for the Seattle Krakens.
Oh, that would be cool.
And I think that would be a possibility that, like, the Krakens organization gets in on the PWHL. I'm just saying, it'd be pretty cool.
They did, so the Seattle Krakens were in the Winter Classic, I believe last year. And they dressed up as the fishermen the longshore fishermen for their walk-in outfits, because back then last year we actually had cool walk-in outfits for the Winter Classic. And this year for the Takeover Tour, a lot of the women dressed up in the longshore fisherman outfits for their walk-in outfit. So it's this little tie-in. It's like they're already kind of playing off each other. They're already playing together in a way. And it's
Also,
really fun to watch.
Jessica Campbell came and gave a speech to the Montreal team, and I would really like. I want to see more crossovers with that. You know what I mean? I am a big fan of the fact that Jessica Campbell is paving the way for women in sports in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? With coaching in a male-dominated league. So I'm really excited. I would like to see Seattle because I just think that they're doing a great job building on the women's sports culture already.
And part of me selfishly wants Colorado because I have family in Colorado, so it would be possible for me to fly down to Colorado and catch a game and stay with family there. It would be a little more accessible to me, and I think it would be amazing if we made it to like the first puck drop of a new PWHL team, because I'm just here to support the ladies.
Yeah.
That's what I'm here for. And if you care about the men's Winter Classic, which I don't at this point because I was extremely disappointed by it. The Blues did 1-6-2 over the Blackhawks, and it had the lowest viewership of like the Winter Classic so far. Everyone was a little disappointed. It was a little yikes. A lot of people think that if they want to make the Winter Classic better and have people watch, they should pick, not to be mean if you're a Blues fan or a Blackhawks fan, but more relevant teams. Because right now the Blackhawks are kind of right at the bottom, not doing too well. And the Blues are just right in the middle, very mid, not doing much this season. So picking more competitive teams would be a solution, but the years of planning that must go into making a Winter Classic would probably make that a little difficult logistically. Because it's not like you don't pick the teams that are going to play the year of, just because of how much work goes into it.
Yeah, but you could also do something where they're rewarding teams for being the top of the league, you know, so the Minnesota Wild has worked really hard to stay in that number one position. I think that, you know, a cool thing if sports were willing to do it, kind of like the NBA Cup does, is they take the better teams and they allow them to compete mid-season. I think the NHL should do something like that. Maybe convert the winter classic to that, but that's just my personal opinion.
Or like, I feel like a rematch of like the last year's Stanley Cup.
Ooh, yeah, a lot of people would watch that.
Like I would watch that. I would love watching that. I think that would be really fun.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I have for hockey news. I could go on, but I think that's all the relevant stuff that wouldn't be me ranting about the Winter Classic and Hunger Games.
All right, Marcus.
Well, also, I'm gonna tag a note onto the end of that. Like with the whole Seattle stuff. The first thing that definitely popped in my head when I was thinking of a team name, it's so dumb, but my brain instantly went towards the word salmon, and I was like, Seattle Salmon. That'd be quite dumb, but I love it. But I don't know why my brain went there.
Okay.
But still, Seattle,
No.
great sports town, but still, because they should bring the basketball team back. But that's just me being a basketball fan.
Well, yeah, especially with the Seattle Storm, like they kind of ball in.
Yeah, I mean, Seattle used to have a basketball team for the men's, but then they went to Oklahoma. I don't know.
Why would you go to Oklahoma?
Well, clearly it worked out well. So
That's true. They're kind of raining
to be fair,
on.
yeah. To be fair, when the team went to Oklahoma, I think they brought Kevin Durant with them, and then they also got Russell Westbrook their first season. So they had a good team. But I don't know. Okay, football. I'll start with football because football is the most relevant thing because today is literally Sunday as we're recording this. So
Happy Football Sunday to everybody that celebrates.
The Patriots,
uh, uh,
actually, surprisingly, won today.
yeah, against the Bills, who,
Yeah, you guys don't get to talk about the Patriots the way that you were dissing them in our group chat this week. The disrespect, okay? We're going through a building season. We've been going through some building seasons, okay? Like,
The build suggests that you've made progress.
we have. We
It
actually have
does
an
not
okay
suggest
quarterback.
it doesn't suggest anything right now. I see that they put the second string quarterback in, so Josh Allen didn't even touch the football today. So the second string quarterback was the one playing. Josh Allen didn't even play.
I was literally
So
shocked when a customer came in and said that the Patriots were tied. And then someone came in later and it's like, oh, the Patriots won. We also had a conversation with someone and like, oh, I'm getting ready to go home watch the Patriots game. I'm like, oh, you're getting ready to watch the Patriots lose? He goes, well, it's in their best interest because then they get the first round draft pick. And I'm just like, so we're calling it strategic losing at this time and not just losing?
yeah, which was, in my opinion, dumb. They no longer have that pick after the win.
Yeah.
I think the Titans now have the pick.
It's
Which,
okay. I was about to put the most wild prediction for 2025 in my bingo card this year. I was going to say that the Cowboys came out of nowhere and won the championship, won the Super Bowl, but then I realized that the Cowboys have been eliminated. So that literally is impossible.
they were eliminated like a month ago.
I was not keeping up with that.
No. Looking at the stats from today's Patriots game, it looks like the third string quarterback for the Patriots was in, while the second string was in for the Bills. So yeah, for all I know, that win could just be because the Bills were resting players. So
I believe the Bills are out of it, correct?
out of out of what? Out of the playoffs?
Yeah.
No, the Bills are the top team. The Bills are like this. Well, they're the second. They're the top team of that division. They're the second best team going into playoffs for the
All
AFC.
I know about the Bills is that they have this one creator on TikTok who makes these fancy Bill outfits to go to the games and do the things, and they're really cool outfits. Love her style. And every year she makes a video about being disappointed that the Bills choke.
They always choke in playoffs. They don't choke during the
Oh, yeah.
season.
During the regular season, they're great. During the playoffs, they choke heavy.
I think
Th-
it's
If the Bills didn't choke during the playoffs, they probably would have a championship or two in the last 7 years. Something like
for
that.
sure.
I think with the games today for football, the Broncos were the last team to clinch in the AFC for the playoffs.
The
So the
Orange
Orange
Horsey
Horse
team.
team is making it to the playoffs. There was a whole, so literally the playoff picture looked all, because I think the Bengals had to win, but the Colts had to also win for the Bengals to make the playoffs. But then if the Colts lost, then the Broncos made. It's a whole mess today. I don't remember how it exactly went. Granted, the only other team that needs to figure out what they're doing for playoffs is the Vikings and the Lions. Because right
Okay.
now,
I hope the Vikings make it in solely because they have bomb victory dances and I
well,
love them.
here's the thing: both teams are already in the playoffs, but both teams are tied for the top spot of the division. And I think whoever wins, I don't know if whoever wins gets the top seed of the overall conference,
Okay.
but they're facing each other today. And then the winner
So
of
that'll
that
decide
game
it.
decides who gets first of their division, but I don't know who gets first of the conference because the Eagles would also have the same record. So I don't know who gets first in conference there.
Whoever is on the Vikings media team needs a raise because they made the funniest video of, so they had somebody on a podcast, a sports podcast, was talking about how they absolutely sucked and they predicted them to do terrible this season. And well, anyways, they took that video and they put it, his words, his like what he was saying, overlaying with like just highlights of the season, and they were like, never doubt us, pretty much. And I was like, ooh, get it. And they posted it everywhere and roasted this content creator. It was really funny.
The professional sports TikTok and social media pages have been amazing this year. They've been pretty ruthless in some ways. The New Jersey Devils made like a 2024 recap for, I forget which team it was that they played against, but they're like, this year you lost to us X amount of times. I sent it to Rachel on TikTok. It was hilarious. I love that. I need more of that. Give it to me.
Okay. Anyways, sorry, we just spiraled off. Go ahead, Marcus.
Oh, now I remember the statistic when you were saying the whole conversation with like the Vikings not going to do well and all that. It was funny because I saw a statistic earlier today. Sam Darnold, their quarterback, in his first 3 seasons with his original team that he was with, which was the Jets, he had, I think he had less wins during those 3 seasons as a Jet than he does this season as the Vikings quarterback. And I was like, one, that's slightly sad, but two, I was like, that's slightly impressive just because he's been able to bounce back. But I was like, I think it was like 13 wins throughout his first 3 seasons as a Jets quarterback, and then he has 14 this season. So actually, no, that would put. Oh, so no, whoever wins this game actually does become top conference. I'm dumb. Just because I didn't realize the teams were 14-2. But no, whoever wins the game tonight is the top of the conference and gets the number 1 seed of the NFC. I did not realize that. I cannot read.
Here's to the Vikings. The Lizzo song team.
Let's see. Granted, I wasn't shocked that the Chiefs lost today because they didn't put anybody good in the game for the Chiefs in general, but they didn't even score a point, which was surprising. So to not score a point against the Broncos, which was funny, is surprisingly shocking. But I don't know. That's just my opinion on the fact of resting players versus playing your actual players. Which actually brings me to my next great point. So Saquon Barkley, running back for the Eagles, if he had played this week, he was a 101 yards short of breaking the all-time rushing yards in a season. He was only 101 yards. That record hasn't been broken in, I think, almost, no, it might be 40 years, 30, 40 years, something like that. And the Eagles told him that he wasn't playing today, so he was not going to break that record, which was quite sad to see, but still, granted, you taking one of the best players into playoffs at his peak when he's healthy and rested probably is more beneficial than having him break a record that he just gets his name put into a record book for. But
Yeah, unfortunately, it is a team sport, and at the end of the day, the coaches have to make decisions, hard decisions, based off of what's best for the team and not what's best for the players.
mm-hmm.
But I'm sure he was a little salty about it.
Yeah, I
uh,
would be.
he definitely. I think there was a post saying he was at first, but then like he looked like he took a day to reflect on it and kind of realized like at the end of the day he's doing, like he said, like you guys said, or Rachel said, mostly he's doing what's best for the team, and if the coach told him to rest for that day, he's going to rest. So it is what it is, and they are going
Yeah.
into the playoffs. So
Yeah.
I mean, I guess college football because the playoffs are in full swing, but which granted, a whole thing of upsets for college football playoffs because nobody expected the 5, 6, 7, and 8 seeds to beat the 1, 2, 3, and 4 seeds and be the final 4 teams in the playoffs.
Pop off Kings! That's what we like to see.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love upsets. I love Cinderella stories and upsets.
Literally all those games were upsets because it was, well, granted, the 5 or 4 could go either way because you're 2 teams at a 4 seed or a 5 seed, so. But like 1 seed losing to an 8 seed, 3 seed losing to a 6 seed, 7 seed losing to or beating a 2 seed. That's what I mean. But still, that ended some really good seasons for some players. But then it also makes some teams pop off and shine more than they probably were. So, granted, yeah, Granted, I don't know if anyone expected Boise State at the beginning of the year to be in the college playoffs, but
Who even is Boise State?
Boise State's out of Idaho. That's
Should she even go here?
Did she even go here?
granted. Nobody expected them because it's just like, okay, a random college in the middle of Idaho. And then their running back had over 2,000 rushing yards in the season and was second place in the Heisman Trophy Award. So
Oh my
it
goodness.
is what it is.
Pop off King.
Yeah. What else do I have? Well, I think that's all for
Do you
football.
have any baseball news?
Jeez, I could go through the whole list of transactions. There's a lot of people that got traded or signed deals.
Any
Obvious-
notable ones?
Well, obviously we did go over the most notable one the last podcast where it was the $765 million contract that, in my opinion, not deserved, but still, it is what it is.
Hot takes.
Let's see. I mean, granted, the Red Sox, like my hat says, made a big move for Garrett Crochet from the White Sox, where we traded 4 of our top prospects, technically. I think 2 top 100 MLB prospects, but in the Red Sox system, I think within the top 50 prospects, somewhere in there. Granted, they traded away one of my more or less favorite minor league players. But the last time the Red Sox made a deal with the White Sox for a pitcher, it turned out really well. So I'm not going to complain at it.
I love the Red Sox. I will always be a Red Sox girl. I will be surprised if they have even a shadow of a decent season this year, because they have not been playing that well over the last few years.
Granted,
the last time
I think trades are really going to help them. I don't.
The last time I unironically watched the Red Sox was when Babe Ruth was still relevant.
He's technically... Well, that's also saying you never watched baseball, because Babe Ruth was relevant in the 40s. I know. But also, Babe Ruth is technically still relevant, so...
Babe Ruth is always...
Babe Ruth is always relevant in the world of baseball, so...
Well, yeah, obviously. No, it was, who is our really big player that said that this is our city after the Boston bombing? That was the last time I watched.
Was that David Ortiz? Yeah.
Yeah, Big Pop. Yeah, David Ortiz. That was the last time I actually watched a baseball game, and that was just because of everything that happened with that.
We traded Mookie, we had Pigpen Pedroia retire, and I'm just... Yeah. I've been disappointed in the Red Sox ever since. They're still my team. Still have to go to a game. I will still wear Red Sox merch. But they've been disappointing the last few years.
Yeah, but
didn't they? Wait,
no, I mean 2018 they won.
Didn't they win the World Series?
In 2018.
Yeah. Okay. Oh my God! It's 2025, guys.
Yeah.
It all went down a hill after.
For all those in the podcast that didn't know, happy 2025, because we never said anything about that. But yeah, no, they won back in 2018, but then after 2018, it just all went this way. Granted, there was one season where we had a good playoff run. I think it was 2021. But I think after that...
I had a college professor that used to make me listen to baseball games on field trips.
Baseball games are terrible to listen to.
No, but now the thing is, it's like, because the Red Sox, I think, made it to the... granted, it's the ALCS, which is the championship series for the AL, but it's the semifinals, technically. We made it there in 2021, which was a miracle season that we even got that far, but ended up losing in that. But still, like, that was the last, like, okay season we had. And then ever since then, downhill.
Just a reminder for the viewers, we are very biased towards Boston as New England folks, but
football,
except for when it comes to football.
Yeah, football.
Excuse you. Okay, listen, we know that the Patriots suck right now, but we can't lose faith in the organization.
Okay.
I never had faith in them to begin with.
Losing faith implied that I ever had.
And because you guys will come crawling back as soon as they start winning again. So let's talk about some bandwagon things.
No,
I've never been a Patriots fan.
My Purple Poe inspired team. Thank you very much. Ravens fan for life.
I've never been a Patriots fan. Steelers fan for life.
See, I was a Patriots fan when I was little, but then I grew up and I knew better. I matured.
I knew better.
Really watch football that much. My dad's just a Patriots fan, so he's not right now. My dad is a bigger bandwagon fan than I'll ever be. That man. I don't know who he was watching. He was watching Trevor Lawrence. That was his
Jaguars?
This year. Mm-hmm.
That's called a bandwagon and a half because the Jaguars aren't good.
He usually just picks a Florida team if we're doing terrible.
Fair enough. I mean, at least he sticks to his guns and just chooses Florida specifically.
Yeah, because before that was the Buccaneers.
Oh, Tom Brady. Bandwagon.
Yep. Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm a New England hater when it comes to the WNBA, so
This is true.
I
I
don't.
am too.
For the only team I'll ever root for New York, though Indiana is the team that I actually root for. But no, New York is definitely my second team. I was so excited to see them win.
I will never root for a New York team in my life.
Fair.
We'll make a fan out of you.
Yikes. That's not scary or creepy at all. But still, like going back to the Red Sox stuff, like I mean, the Red Sox this offseason got 3 starting pitchers and 1 relief pitcher. Granted, I say 3 starting pitchers. It's going to be 2 to start the season because the third one is still currently recovering from surgery. So, well, especially because it's
So, I didn't read the full article because I was just kind of scrolling and I did click on the article. But something about how we're ruining pitchers essentially with modern days focused on pitching and the ball reaching. That was not a very good way of putting it, but trying to get top speed on pitches. It's really
yeah,
hard on the shoulders of the pitchers, and we're like going through pitchers very quickly nowadays because the emphasis that we're putting on the speed of the ball and the speed of the pitch. But I don't think we can really blame that for the fact that the Red Sox have been struggling with pitchers over the last few years.
no, but that's
But
also a slightly. I do like that point though. It's funny because one of the Red Sox signings this offseason was Aroldis Chapman, one of the relief pitchers we signed, who's also nicknamed the Cuban Missile, because he can literally throw. He has, I think, the fastest pitch on record in history at 106.
Okay, but
I
if he
think.
ever gets injured, can we call it the Cuban Missile Crisis?
And with that, we're wrapping up. Thanks for listening, folks.
That was a good way to end it.
Do you have